Men tend to communicate through their actions rather than their words. They want to build things, fix things, improve things. They basically want to put out the fire that needs to be put out. And this behavior dates back to prehistoric times when men would have to prove their worth by hunting and providing for their families. Men also have more gray matter in their brain as compared to white matter, which women tend to have more of. Now, gray matter in the brain is responsible for more of the information and action-centered thought processing. But see, us females, we are gifted with woman's intuition and are better at interpreting emotions and reading more subtle facial emotional cues. And this all makes sense from an evolutionary perspective because we have to interpret the needs better of the non-verbal, such as babies. We had to be more responsive to a baby's needs that could not speak, could not do for itself. Now, this is a very needed quality and very great difference to have of the two sexes. Now, even though it is great to embrace these qualities, sometimes it is inevitable that we miscommunicate and misunderstand the opposite sex, and that can tend to cause friction in romantic relationships or just even in business relationships between men and women. So when a woman tells a man about a problem she's having, whether it be at work or with a family member or maybe one of her girlfriends, his immediate instinct is to put out the fire and fix the problem. And that might mean giving unsolicited advice and solutions. Now, this can be very annoying for us females because even though men mean well, it can be very ticking for a man to basically it translate the message that he's not really understanding and hearing what she's dealing with. He's just jumping straight to giving her solutions. And look, for me, for the men in my life that do this, look, I totally get it. Because I study men and women, I can literally laugh when they start jumping in and giving their advice that I didn't even ask for. It actually makes me laugh. But just because I study this kind of stuff and I know what to expect, that's why I can so easily laugh it off. But for the average person that doesn't understand our differences, and especially in romantic, intimate relationships, this can be very frustrating and really start to tear a relationship romantically apart. And so whenever a woman is going to a man with a problem, it's really just a process of releasing for her, releasing heavy weight, heavy energy. It's a venting, it's a letting out frustrations. It's actually something that she does to help bring her hormones back into balance. You know, for us women, crying is very beneficial because it's a release of heavy energy. And it actually makes you feel better to cry. So that's sometimes what that looks like, is when she's going to a man looking to lean on him emotionally, looking for him to be that, firm oak tree, as I always use, in the ground, that foundation that she can lean upon. And unfortunately, when a guy does start giving his solutions and advice, it can kind of just feel like, well, what was the point of me telling him? Because, now I just feel even worse because he's not really understanding or hearing what I'm going through. It just kind of strips all emotionality from him and then from her, if that makes sense. And so this is actually a huge reason why women love going to therapy, because therapy is the container in which a woman can really feel safe and not so judged for letting out her crazy, irrational feelings and frustrations and even childhood traumas. And, since a therapist is being paid to listen to all her problems and kind of help guide her through getting through it, um, the therapist has to really have like a set protocol of how to manage her through that stress, rather than just giving unsolicited advice, and really showing their empathy. Plus, most therapists are women, right? It's other women. So women communicate differently with other women than women communicate with men. It's a different energy that way. So women going to another woman therapist is just going to have more empathy for what she's going through, and just be a better listener overall, because she herself can relate to it, and she has more emotional capacity in her brain to deal with that. So I say all that to say, men, this is how you really truly fix the problem and put the fire out. So, being dismissive about her problems or giving a solution that you may resort to because you are a male in a male body with a male brain and marinating in testosterone, that's not going to get you very far, because men minimize and women maximize. So, what he should do is he should say phrases like, "I understand, babe. I hear you. Tell me a little bit more about your situation. I'm here for you." Phrases like this penetrate deeper into the female psyche, making her feel more safe to be vulnerable. The masculine gets hard, goes in, and penetrates to where the feminine can open and loosen up. Because if a man is not hard during the thing, he can't do the thing. It's just not gonna work. I use this analogy often because it is befitting. He sort of has this unwavering ability to remain stoic and not get triggered while she is going through the internal process of just releasing things that need to be released. Just letting her have her moment and letting it go, flow in and flow out. But I'm giving you the solution that's not going to work against you. So that means penetrating deeper into her female psyche, allowing her to be more expressive and not feel judged or crazy for having these irrational feelings. Because that's really all they are at the end of the day, is just irrational feelings that need to be let out and released. Okay? And I know this so well from my own personal experience, because time and time again, when a male is shutting me down and I'm just trying to express something that has been weighing heavy on my heart, and maybe I'm crying about something, and they go in and try to dismiss what I'm feeling and give me A, B, and C solutions to fix that, I just shut down. Like, after a few times of hearing this A, B, and C solution, I'm like, okay, I don't even want to tell you about, what I'm feeling anymore, even though you asked, because it's useless. So I very much can relate to this situation, because it has happened so many times with so many male figures in my life. So women, I hear you. Men, I hear you and your point of view just as much, but we have to understand this in order to come together harmoniously and create balance again. So even though he might think that he's being helpful, because that might be something that he would do for himself, like you're complaining about something at your job and he says, well, quit your job. Well, gee, why didn't I think about that? It's actually not being very helpful at all, and sort of dismissive and lacking emotionality and empathy. So men, unless she is asking for your help and solutions and advice and to fix a problem or put out a fire, or he has the male intuition and wisdom to differentiate between actually jumping in and fixing a problem, or just giving her a shoulder to cry on, or an ear, lending an ear to listen to her. Unless she's asking for those things, don't do it. Okay. This is actually a tactic that women use to connect intimately on a deeper level, and men have an opposite way of connecting intimately. And so this is where we see a lot of the butting heads, because once a woman shuts down mentally and emotionally, she will also shut down physically. I mean, I still even have male figures in my life where I know better. I've created these unfortunate conditioned responses with them than to go to them looking for empathy and sympathy and sort of that shoulder to lean on, just because they're not trained in the way to listen to a woman's emotive feelings, and so I just keep my safe distance. And this really does this places a heavy weight on a heavy strain on the relationship itself. So we have to understand this stuff. And I could go on and on and on and on and on about the female and male brain and hormonal systems, because I just love this stuff, man. I just love it. But I don't want to make this video too long, so maybe in the next video we will continue in this conversation. Let me know if you found this video to be helpful. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in the next video. Mwah. Love you.